10 seconds, 5 seconds, start. The parent or guardian of a differently abled person can take an insurance scheme for such person. The present law provides for deduction to the parent or guardian only if the lump sum payment or annuity is available to the differently abled person or the death of the subscriber, that is parent or guardian. There could be situations where differently abled dependents may need payment of annuity or lump sum amount even during the lifetime of their parents or guardians. I propose to thus allow the payment of annuity and lump sum amount to the differently abled dependent during the lifetime of parents or guardians, that is, on the parents or guardians attaining the age of 60 years. At present, the central government contributes 14% of the salary of its employee to the national pension system Tier 1. This is allowed as a deduction in computing the income of the employee. However, such deduction is allowed only to the extent of 10% of the salary in case of employees of the state governments. To provide equal treatment to both central and state government employees, I propose to increase the tax deduction limit from 10% to 14% on employers' contribution to the NPS account of state government employees as well. This would help enhancing the social security benefits of the state government employees and bring them at par with central government employees. Startups have emerged as drivers of growth for our economy. Over the past few years, the country has seen a manifold increase in successful startups. Eligible startups established before 31st March 2022 had been provided a tax incentive for 3 consecutive years out of 10 years from incorporation. In view of the COVID pandemic, I propose to extend the period of incorporation of the eligible startup by 1 more year, that is up to 31st March 2023, for providing such tax incentives in an effort to establish a globally competitive business environment for certain domestic companies. A concessional tax regime of 15% tax was introduced by our government for newly incorporated domestic manufacturing companies. I propose to extend the last date for commencement of manufacturing or production under Section 115 BAB by 1 year, that is from 31st March 2023 to 31st March 2024. There has been a phenomenal increase in transaction in virtual digital assets. The magnitude and frequency of these transactions have made it imperative to provide for a specific tax regime. Accordingly, for the taxation of virtual digital assets, I propose to provide that any income from transfer of any virtual digital asset shall be taxed at the rate of 30%. No deduction in respect of any expenditure or allowance shall be allowed while computing such income except cost of acquisition. Further, loss from transfer of virtual digital assets cannot be set off against any other income. Further, in order to capture the transaction details, I also propose to provide for TDS on payment made in relation to transfer of virtual digital asset at the rate of 1% of such consideration above a mandatory threshold. Gift of virtual digital asset is also proposed to be taxed in the hands of the recipient. It has been observed that a lot of time and resources are consumed in filing of appeals which involve identical issues. Taking forward our policy of sound litigation management, I propose to provide that if a question of law in the case of an SSC is identical to a question of law which is pending in appeal before the jurisdictional high court or the Supreme Court, in any case, the filing of further appeal in the case of this SSC by the department shall be deferred till such question of law is decided by the jurisdictional high court or the Supreme Court. This will greatly help in reducing the repeated litigation between taxpayers and the department. Taking forward our efforts to further promote the Indian Financial System Code, I hereby propose to provide that income of a non-resident from offshore derivative instruments or over-the-counter derivatives issued by an offshore banking unit, income from royalty and interest on account of lease of ship, and income received from portfolio management services in Indian Financial System Code shall be exempt from tax subject to specified conditions. In the globalized business world, there are several works contracts whose terms and conditions mandatorily require formation of a consortium. The members in the consortium are generally companies. In such cases, the income of these association of persons has to suffer a graded surcharge up to 37%, which is a lot more than the surcharge on the individual companies. Accordingly, I propose to cap the surcharge of these association of persons at 15%.